being conscientious about the memory formations and the memory structures that you're creating. Identifying the points where people begin to think about your product and your category and your brand, and how are you going to come into place so that they're the one that they decide to purchase at that moment.
The first major concept is this concept of entry points. We call them trigger points because we think about it in terms of a psychological construct, but it really has to do with when is somebody going to enter that tiny little window where they're thinking about my product or my category that my brand might become relevant. So we go through a process where we begin to be very rigorous about defining that so that we can define exactly what that trigger point looks like and define exactly what's going on psychologically, what's going through that person's brain very quickly so that my brand becomes relevant at that specific moment.
Yeah, let's take a look at a commercial that does a great job of doing this.
Did you steal my Cheetos again?
Just tell him it wasn't you.
But I caught you at the counter.
Wasn't me.
Saw you snacking on the sofa.
Wasn't me.
You even had him in the shower.
It wasn't me.
I even caught you on camera.
You're the one who granted access to your snacks. Don't talk surprised that she sneak behind your back. You gotta keep tabs before she empty that bag. Let's review the situation. Orange fingers, red flag. To keep you unstuck, you gotta hide it better. If she asks where they are, you say forget her. Never admit to a word, and please don't upset her. And if she keep on snacking, I guess you let her.
Well, did you?
Wasn't me.
Oh. Okay.
Well, that's the first time that's ever worked.
New Cheetos Crunch Pop Mix.
Now, this spot has a lot of good stuff going on it. There's great audio mnemonics, there's celebrities. But the specific thing that I think that makes it effective is the use of trigger points. They defined a specific instance that we can all relate to, that moment where we're snacking, kind of cheating. We don't want other people to know about it. And they're beginning to own that specific concept. And that can have a very powerful effect that can extend well beyond their own ads.
Yeah, here's an example of regular people using this and being reminded of this as they go about their day.
On today's episode of Literally Caught Red-Handed, we have the influencer who says eat the salad, sends the little people out of the room, and open, sure, open. Don't make me do it, man, own it. Takes the chips and bloody hides them inside the drawer. Huh? Wasn't you, wasn't me. Huh? Caught you in the coffee snack drawer? Wasn't me. In the shower? Wasn't me. Who's banging on the bathroom floor now, bloody? Wasn't me.
Now, this is somebody taking the same concept and applying it in their own space. They're getting that amplification. And even though they weren't using the same product, it made us think about it. It made us think, oh, is that Cheetos? And recalls that memory. And that's the power of owning a trigger point, of inserting yourself into that moment when we're all cheating. And this can be done in a variety of ways. You can make up trigger points that you can own. For instance, one of our clients wanted an association for it being warm because their product is primarily available and does well during the summer months. So we created an association when the sun's out, your tongue's out, because Rita's Italian Ice colors your tongue. And this association proved to be a surprisingly strong one and caught on with their fan base, who, after they ate Rita's, began taking selfies and Instagram pics with their tongue sticking out, which amplified the concept, which allowed us to own that trigger point. And trigger points can take a variety of different ways. Same brand, but what if we own the associations with Italy, for instance? So if you think about culture or trying something different, you associate it with Rita's. And you can do that with marketing. As you begin to think about famous Italian concepts, we can always associate Rita's. And this gives us a different trigger point that we might be able to insert our brand within. Because that's the construct. What's the trigger point, and what is the relevance of my product at that trigger point? Now, thinking about things in a very different way, perhaps you're trying to break into a new market space, such as becoming a refreshing drink post-workout. Well, you can do that by talking specifically that trigger point. Now, most people think about post-workout, let's have a Gatorade or other high-sugar drink. But some of that audience just worked out. They don't want a high-sugar drink, and this is an opportunity for unsweet tea. Refigure your refreshment. So we're defining a trigger point and inserting a product that will be relatable with a specific why you, in this case, no calorie, for that trigger point. And this is the same construct that most branding ought to have. Define a trigger point, insert yourself. And I want to show you how wildly effective this can be. You can take a brand or a product like we did with Mohawk that started from scratch. They were in startup phase. They had a new product. No one had ever heard about it. We did some research, and what we found is that the trigger point for moms was, how's this going to stand up to my kids and my pets? I bet they're going to destroy this. So if you can show me that it's going to stand up to my kids and pets, I'll give you a look. So we took that trigger point and we created a great example of how it would stand up. So we took it to several zoos, and we carpeted the animal enclosures at those zoos, and we turned the zoos into, or the animals into social media stars, and we did a big press tour to get this concept across. Well, within 9 months, Mohawk went from the startup phase to the mature phase, where they dominated market share within the subcategory of pets and children. They still maintain that dominance in that space because of this one concept that they continue to amplify. And that's the power of effective branding.
This video is from our webinar series, and you can check out intermarkgroup.com/webinar to watch the full series. We're a full-service advertising agency that embeds a layer of behavioral science in our creative. And you can check out the information below to learn more about us and to contact us to help you solve your marketing challenges.